Hey family, it is Netta back at you with Black Lives Count. So family, I am here to just so that we can have a discussion about the disrespect. So although we all may not have agreed with the way that Brother Reverend Jackson took the black fight and cast it for a fight for everybody, we don't agree with that. But in death, we must always pay our respects to our brothers and our sisters. And that's not what happened on the day of Brother Jackson's funeral, okay? I too don't like a lot of the things and the policies that he stood for everybody, instead of taking the fight like Dr. King was fighting initially for his people. And but that's neither here nor there, because we are not going to speak ill of somebody that has transgressed on to the next level, okay? But what we're going to talk about is the disrespect that the Democrats have had for the foundational Black American community, and they have never ceased on this disrespect on us. We say that we are sitting it out, or we're going to sit down and rest because we're tired, and yet the liberal will still come to the black community to tell us about how we need to get out there and fight for their causes, because that's all it is fighting for their causes. So I have a snippet of an article that I want to read to you, and then we're going to have a discussion about it, okay, family? So it says, Jesse Jackson Jr. took a not-so-subtle swipe at three former Democratic presidents who spoke at his father's memorial services: Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden, saying that they did not know the real Jesse Jackson. And what he actually said was they didn't know his father, because they were at odds. He was at odds with some of them on some of the policies and the decisions that the Democrats had started to make. See, what I think happened is Brother Jackson started to realize where the Democrats were going. That whole coalition of black and brown and all that stuff, it's been nothing for black people but a headache. Okay, it's been a headache because there is no coalition. They don't have a coalition with us, and neither should we have a coalition with them. So it said, yesterday I listened for several hours of three United States presidents who do not know Jesse Jackson Jr. Jesse Jackson Jr. He continued, he maintained a tense relationship with the political order, not because the presidents were white nor black, but the demands of our messages, the demands of speaking for the least of these, those who are disinherited, the damned, the dispossessed, the disrespected, and demanded not Democratic nor Republican solutions, but demanded a consistent prophetic voice that at no point in time sold his people. Okay? In other words, what he was trying to say, I believe, the eulogy that he was speaking in terms of his father. Okay, we know what his father initially stood for. Okay, he stood with brothers like Martin Luther King and other brothers, Medgar Evers, and different brothers that were in the struggle, even at one time Malcolm X and Farrakhan, which now everybody is, they separated themselves, because I remember when Aretha Franklin died and Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton were at the funeral sitting up front and center, and they both skeeted away from Brother Farrakhan, Louis Farrakhan, like he had the bubonic plague or something. See, they had accepted and began to work with the Democrats, and I believe he realized that the Democrats were not really working in the favor of the black community. So I think that's when the shutout began. Because if you notice, more and more, Brother Jackson was not seen, and Al Sharpton was pushed up to the front, if you really were paying attention. So that's because Al Sharpton was, I believe, readily and agreed. Because look, when Kamala was running, Al Sharpton got $500,000. What do you think that $500,000 was for? It was to sell out his own community. He don't care. Just line my pockets. I don't care what happens to the rest of the community. Just give me what I want, and I'm cool with it, and I'll just gab the rest of them. Al Sharpton, Roland Martin, people like that are being used to keep the black community voting for the Democrats. But now that more and more of the black community are waking up and saying, you know what, we're not standing for this shit. We're not going to continue to vote for nothing. No tangible in sight. But we're just going to go out there and vote for them. And now more and more black people are saying we're not doing it anymore. And so they're trying to find other means and ways to get us back on that plantation. But we can say we're not going because we're not going anymore. There are some of us that are still there, that are still lost and trapped in that simulation, who does not fully and truly understand the direction and the plight in which the Democratic Party is going. You know, it's like we have to understand, see, what it is I believe we've gotten acclimated to not getting anything. We've gotten comfortable with that. It's okay. We had, up until recently, gotten comfortable with it. And then as the younger generation started coming up and saying, hell no. I mean, the last thing that we got from the Democratic Party or the Republican Party or whoever you want to say it was the Civil Rights Act. The foundational black community has not received one tangible since then. Not a hate crime bill in that form, not any form of reparation, whether it be no taxes, whether it be free education, for those that want to go that way, or what we prefer is cash payments in the form of reparations. That's what we would prefer. See, they don't want to provide any tangibles for us, but they want us to continue to go out there and vote. And the disrespect has been long. I mean, he asked for nobody to get up there at his dad's funeral and make it a political thing. You know what I'm saying? But every last one of them got up there and did it. Kamala got up there and did it, and all of the rest of them did as well. Disrespect. See, this was at the behest of the wife. The wife had asked her son or their son to make that announcement that this is not a political thing right now. This is about burying my husband, y'all's dad, and I just want to keep it, in that frame. But they don't know how not to be overbearing when it comes to black people. Had that been someone from a different community, they wouldn't have got up there and made it political. But they feel comfortable doing that to us. It is time for us to put the damn Democrats in their place. See, we're not going to take disrespect from the Republicans. We're just not. But we have taken disrespect from the Democrats day after day. When we ask for anything, what do they tell us? They look at us like, how dare you? Like we disgust them. Who are you to ask for anything? See, that's the thing I want the 92% to understand. See, I too, at one time, was a hardcore Democrat. I was. Raised my children to be hardcore Democrats. But now, I see it differently. See, we can't be afraid anymore of them hollering, Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump scary, Trump scary. Who gives a fuck? We have to understand that whoever's going to give us policies are the people that we should be voting for. I'm not worried about Juneteenth. We were already celebrating Juneteenth. I'm not worried about Black History Month. We will celebrate history every day, Black History. We'll talk about it. We'll learn about it. We'll read something about it. Give us something that will be beneficial to our community economically. They don't want to do that. You see, Black America, the plight of the Democrats and the Republicans is to keep us at the bottom economically. See, if they can raise every other community in this United States other than ours, that is what they're going to continue to do. And as long as we blindly go in the booth and vote Democrat, the whole time that Jasmine Crockett was campaigning, she was pandering, and I know a lot of people hate to. She was pandering to the Hispanic community. Yes, there's a large amount in that district that there's a lot of Hispanics. There's also a lot of Blacks. And when you began to alienate your biggest voting bloc and continue the disrespect, you are digging deeper. But see, Black Americans, we have to be real with ourselves. We've allowed it. We've allowed it. Not only have we allowed that, we have went into the booth and voted for people that look like this, that were supporting the other communities, policies for the other communities. Obama supported and did DACA. Biden flooded the borders, and then they got all kind of resources. But when you ask for reparations, if you just hint at reparations, the question to you are, there's a bunch of questions that are posed to you. Where is it going to come from? How are they going to do it? How do you expect anybody to want their tax dollars to go for reparations? I didn't own slaves. You wasn't a slave directly. But even the people that suffered, the sister and two sisters and a brother that passed away from the Oklahoma, from the Black Wall Street raid and massacre, they didn't even want to make amends for that to those people. Family, I am convinced the more I continue living, that this white man is not going to make amends to anything that has transpired to our people in this country. They're not going to. So we can stop looking for it and stop asking for it. So now let's Let's make changes ourselves. Let us make changes ourselves. The way that we vote and the way that we move. I have been so proud of you guys not getting out in those streets and fighting for every other community. When Sandra Massey was shot in the face in her home from calling law enforcement because she was afraid because something was going on, and there may have been mental health issues as well. Whatever, it doesn't matter. The woman didn't do anything that warranted for her to be murdered by that cop. Not one of the people from the Black Caucus spoke about it. Not one Congressional Black Caucus member uttered a word about her. But when Renee Good and Alex Preddy were murdered by ICE agents, you saw members of the Black Caucus, and let me remind you that Jasmine Crockett cried her eyeballs out. Why didn't we see any of that when Sonia Massey was murdered? I'll tell you why. Because the Democrat Party does not truly support the black community. You're supposed to be the community that is out there getting murdered in the streets by the cops. You are supposed to be the community that is subjugated to the prison system. You are supposed to be the community that is the lowest at the totem pole economically. Both parties agree with that. And they stick together like this to ensure that happens. We have to be smarter now. And for the older people, we have to listen. The younger generations are saying no more. And I agree with them wholeheartedly. If you ask me, I really believe that's where the "I'm sitting down resting" really came from. We have to understand we cannot any longer allow ourselves to be used to get these people in office, and they all work for Israel. Whatever Israel says is what they're going to do. And then, as far as I'm concerned, first of all, Israel is the ones that train the police, the National Guard and stuff. And then you wonder why they're so cold-blooded and cold-hearted and just come out and just have this murderous entity within them. Trained killers. Just like hitmen. Because that's what they are. And it's predominantly for our community. The only reason that 2 white people were taken out doing all those protests and stuff is because the white community they have no boundaries. They're boundaryless. They have no boundaries. So they feel like they can get up there and get in the cops' faces. See, we know better. Even Hispanics, I would hope, have more sense. But a lot of them are white adjacent, so they think they're white, so they probably would try it. But black people, we try not to cross those boundaries, and we try to be respectful, but yet we are the ones that are being mowed down in the streets when we're out there fighting for other causes of other communities. And so now we're saying we're not doing it anymore. And I absolutely love it. We have to put our money where our minds and our mouths should be. In our community. Trying to, the brother, the Tendenism brother, the older brother, who helped that white boy with all of that, with his restaurant and stuff and all this. Everybody knows what happened. And then an attorney came, a brother, Foundational Black American, and purchased the trademark and trademarked the name so that the white guy couldn't just take it over. That's what I'm talking about. Putting our money and our mouths and our minds all together for each other. Looking out. Because that's what it's going to take. Foundational Black Americans, that is what it's going to take. All this gender warring and nonsense, it's got to go. It's got to go. And those who are perpetuating it and continuing to bring it into our circles, we got to get rid of them. By any means necessary. All right, family. Thank you so much for joining me on the video. Thank you for liking, for sharing, and for commenting. Keep it respectful. But if you don't agree, that's fine. Let's chop it up in the comments. All right? All right, family. I wish you peace, love, and blessings, and black power. All right, family. Take care. Bye-bye.